So, panelists, I like to get to know things because there's this YouTube audience that hasn't been here all week. So, please, let's start with you, Bruce. Please tell us your name and your quest for this week.
My name is Bruce Burns with the Oracle Bare Metal Cloud Services team. My quest for this week is to learn a little bit more about PBS Works and the clientele that uses it, their requirements, how they'd like to consume it, how they'd like to be able to use it in new form factors, mainly the cloud. What can I do in order to make this super easy for customers to be able to burst up when necessary and use it on the cloud, as well as consider the cloud as their next platform to use when they have a new hardware refresh. So those were some of the things that I was here to learn, and it's been very helpful.
Has it been good? Yeah?
It's been very helpful.
Okay, Dale.
Thank you, Dale Brantley with Panasas. My quest is quite simple. We, as a company, started in HPC some years ago. Over the last couple of years, we sort of moved on to other markets, and we're actually showing back into getting reestablished the relationship with those customers. We get feedback says, we're not present. We weren't present at Supercomputing last year. We will be back, and we will continue to do shows or conferences like this in the future.
Great. Tom?
I'm Tom Kruger, and Director of Business Development with Intel's HPC Platform Software team. And my quest this week was to learn about really the users and the people that are developing applications in HPC, particularly around new workloads, cloud, those type of things. And it's been extremely useful. It's been a great week.
Was this your first one? First PBS?
My first PBS professional users group event.
Okay.
So.
Well, great. Well, I'm your moderator. I'm Rich Brueckner from insideHPC. And, for you YouTube folks out there, insideHPC has over 2,500 videos like this. So some of them get thousands of viewers. So picture this room is a hockey arena. In 1 month, 30,000 people watch insideHPC videos. So there is a much bigger audience out there. So thank you, guys. Tom, let's start with you with the first question. What kind of changes are you seeing in data centers? The on-premise, the off-premise, there's lots going on. What are you hearing from customers, Tom?
To your point, Rich, there is a lot of change going on in the HPC landscape, particularly around cloud bursting and the need for that type of workload, potentially going out there, virtual machines, et cetera. But then again, yesterday we had the opportunity to see a huge data center here at Switch, which was exceptional, I felt, and I think everyone else that got a chance to see it felt that way. And so there's still a huge need for, obviously on-prem, off-prem hybrid environments. That's what we're hearing a lot about still. There's obviously security concerns, but where we're seeing cloud really playing a huge part would be around like disaster recovery, business continuity, those type of things. People are always going to want to have that kind of backup. But for us as a semiconductor manufacturer and in the HPC space, obviously for us it's all about how our products can help these different institutions be successful and businesses be successful with Intel products and services. So.
This Switch data center we're at, I believe it was 100 megawatts just in that building. Right, that's a lot of Intel processors, I would think, to get to that, right? So good job.
Yeah, we're very grateful for that.
Okay, Dale, what are you seeing out there? Changes in the data center.
Changes in the data center. We're actually seeing more consolidation. Different divisions of companies actually either bringing into a central computer site or actually going to the colo, independent colos such as Switch. But also the other version is actually at a vendor's colo, such as an SGI or an HP or IBM run colo themselves. So we're also seeing that those customers who haven't made that leap yet, the computer acquisition, which is typically 3.5 years for clusters, is actually getting a little bit longer because they're trying to decide when do they make that hop to the consolidated data center.
Well, help me out. I'm a reporter. consolidated data center. Can you explain that term for me here?
So essentially, most all HPC environments run multiple clusters, and typically of different generations, different capabilities, and in some cases that they'll actually have different sites. So in order to save cost on personnel, on licensing, power optimization, they'll combine those into a single facility.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Bruce,
Yes.
what are you seeing out there in the changes in the data center?
A couple things. I think you have to look at it workload by workload. So, this audience is really centric upon the HPC workloads. But if you step up a little bit and look at other workloads that are out there, they're in different phases of a journey, if you will. So some workloads right now are very rapidly moving to the cloud already. Either they're being lifted up and just running on IaaS infrastructure, compute network storage, in kind of this quote lift and shift unquote model, or else they're being offered as a SaaS service. So many workloads now, rather than going out and buying an app, you can just use an application. And so what we're seeing is a lot of customers now moving to the cloud, not with the typical IaaS infrastructure that comes to mind, but also as just a managed service. I would like to be able to use a CRM system rather than install one and own one. And so that's really what we're seeing with the success of our cloud platform. On the PaaS part of it, it's a huge business for us. And we're seeing the SaaS implementations, it's a huge business for us. On the IaaS front, again, workload by workload, we're seeing these workloads being lifted and shifted to run on our IaaS platform. So customers are picking up, say, HPC now, and making the evaluation. Is it better to do a hardware refresh cycle where we're at right now, or is now the time to actually move this one to the cloud? So those kind of decision points are starting to come up for the first time with this particular workload. Of course, bursting is definitely out there. We don't have enough capacity for peak load. Maybe it is that we just shave off the top and use the peak load type of work within the cloud itself. So those are some of the things that I would say. There's a continuum that's out there with workloads, I'll say in general on the cloud. Typically it starts off with, okay, let's just do peak load in HPC's case, or let's just do dev test. And the clients get comfortable with doing dev test in the cloud. And then they'll actually move over their data as well and say, we're doing dev test with data. This kind of makes it a DR site. And so now they're running DR on the IaaS infrastructure. And then once they get comfortable with that, the next journey is now we're running dev, test, and DR in the cloud. Why are we running this workload on-prem again? And that's kind of the natural progression, workload by workload that we're seeing for those.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, I for the folks that might not have seen your earlier talk, can you tell us how Oracle Cloud is differentiating in terms of bare metal for HPC workloads?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Oracle Bare Metal Cloud is a second generation of cloud infrastructure. Most of the existing clouds that are out there have put their IP into the virtualization layer, the hypervisor. And so when you use hardware equipment in the cloud, it's a virtual machine. We have built, with a clean sheet of paper, over the last 2 years, our second iteration of IaaS infrastructure now. And we lowered that integration level down to bare metal, such that we can vend out a complete server. It's an X5 server on the internet to a user with credentials, and we can do that in under 5 minutes. On that, you can run any operating system you want with no Oracle host code whatsoever. The advantage for HPC is hypervisors are just additional code. It's additional code path, and it's a tax that HPC workloads traditionally have had to pay on the cloud. What's unique within our environment is that you don't have to pay that hypervisor tax. You can run on bare metal as you would run ideally on-prem these HPC workloads as well.
Okay, I want to do a quick poll of the audience. How many of you are running some form or other on the cloud, your workloads? Folks in this room, just a few, and some from, big oil and, Fortune 10 companies. Yeah. So it sounds like a great market for you guys. Yeah.
The timing seems to be right. You don't want to come in too soon where nobody raises their hand. you don't want to come in too late where everybody has raised your hand. So I think timing is everything in this, and we've had the fortunate advantage of being able to hire in some of the best and brightest minds in order to do a second gen. So knowing what we know now after doing this for 10 years in the cloud space, how do you do it again? And so that's what bare metal cloud represents. It's the second generation of our IaaS infrastructure. Has advantages for HPC being bare metal, also with a very low latency, high performance network, and these new NVMe drives, which are an order of magnitude faster than standard SSDs. So between faster disk, more reliable network, faster network, and bare metal compute, we think we have a compelling value proposition for the HPC market.
Okay, I want to ask about faster disks. So the next question's for Dale. And you all get to comment because you're all offering something. Flash, right? You know, Flash is like this, it seems like this quick fix. Is Flash for everybody? What would you say, Dale?
So today, unless you have very deep pockets, Flash is probably not for everybody. We're still seeing that a hybrid solution is probably the best way to go today. But I think the reality is, in 2 years, 3 years, the price of Flash will be down to a point that most everybody will use it for everything. You know, the density has to go up. I mean, it obviously has compelling economics with power, cooling. The cost has to come down. And today, it's just not there for the general purpose HPC that we've seen.
Okay. Well, Tom, Intel's coming into the fray here with 3D XPoint, right? Actually bringing that non-volatile memory closer to speed of DRAM, right? What are you seeing there? Is that, where are you guys going with this? Are you going to become a storage vendor?
That's a good question. No, we still obviously are very active with the Lustre software and parallel file system software. As it relates to SSDs, we have our network storage division, which is actively working in our SSD space, and they've come out with some really compelling offerings from that front as well. I've seen some performance data on those, and it's exceptional. So we feel really positive about our environment and what we're working on right now. So, but as it relates to the XPoint memory, it certainly is going to help that latency, between and performance of all our processors as we move forward.
Okay. Well, if you could pass it down to Bruce, because he gets that. I know that your cloud has Flash, because you guys have been doing that with Exadata and things for. Okay, mine's on. Is yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, I think it was Jim Gray a decade ago that had a saying.
Try it.
Can you hear me now? Okay, correct. So I think it was Jim Gray who had a saying about a decade ago. And what Jim said was something along the lines of tape is disk is flash. No, got that wrong. So let me try it again. He said something along the lines of flash is disk is tape, and tape is dead, and RAM locality is king. So I think that's very much true today as we move forward, 10 years later or so. I think within the bare metal cloud services team, we are spinning rust free. So everything that we have is based on SSD type technology. And the price point has come down enough for us to be able to offer that superior price performance for all of our block and storage that we're using, and local storage.
So that begs the question, is spinning disk dead? Dale? No? No.
Well, I mean,
Jim was wrong.
Jim's wrong.
I don't think it's dead today.
Well, he's not here.
I mean, you're going back, it's tape dead today. I used to work on tape drivers, many round tape drivers many years ago. Is it dead? It's not dead. If you look at the IDE numbers, the quantity of cartridges is going down, but the density is going up. Will it die eventually? Yeah, I'm sure it will. Will spinning disks die eventually? Yes, they will. I'm not sure when. I think there'll be a point that certainly beyond my caring point that they will die.
Right. Well, we've already seen the 15,000 RPM. Pretty much they're not available on the market anymore. I don't think you can even buy them. So
Oh, absolutely. In fact, one of our director blade system, we put in a small 2.5-inch boot drive in it. We've had to increase the density of that drive because we can't get we can't get a 64 gig spinning drive anymore. So we've gone to a 500. Now we're going to go to an SSD because they're just not available anymore.
okay. Tom, you got any thoughts on spinning disk? Is it dead?
We don't think it's dead yet. I mean, it's obviously with Luster, we're finding that it's still heavily being used, and our high performance data division that was working on that is involved with it on a regular basis. So we don't see it as dying yet. We feel that there's a place in the market for it, and just like there is for SSDs, and we still see it being functional.
Okay. Well, I'd like to open it up to the audience, and please, any questions out there for our panelists? They don't want to just hear my next question is, who's their favorite character on Gilligan's Island? So, any question? Go on. Oh, I thought that would do it. That's an easy one? Okay. Oh, Tom's got the mic. Favorite character, Gilligan's Island. Come on.
I guess I'd have to say probably the skipper.
Okay.
Because he was a decision maker.
Yeah.
He didn't always make the best decisions, but he was decisive.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough.
But and then he owned up to him.
Yeah, I can see that. Dale, favorite character?
I'd have to go with Skipper too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's,
wow. Okay. Bruce?
I'm partial to the professor.
Oh, Professor. Yeah, I think in this crowd.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to own up to it. Mine's Marianne, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Or Ginger.
Okay. Well, we wanted to talk about cloud in the terms of HPC storage, because I don't remember you talking much about storage. And let's start with you, Bruce, because obviously the data has to be local. You don't come and get it back and forth across the wire, right?
That is correct. One of the innovations that we have is something called Fast Connect. And through a partnership with Megaport that we've had for a while now, we're offering up big pipes. These are 10 gigabit pipes that between our charge for Fast Connect and our partner's charge for Megaport is around $2,000 per month. So for $2K a month, you can get 10 gigabit service between multiple points. And to me, that's a game changer, because now with the huge fat pipes at very inexpensive prices, it becomes much more easy to be able to move that data. It starts to chip away at that data gravity problem. So that's, it's still very much an issue. It's something you have to manage, but tools are coming.
Yeah. Well, we've seen things like the AWS Snowball and their truck, right?
Yep.
Like for their archives, how do you get this stuff out of the cloud? Do you have a solution there, or is it a similar kind of?
Well, the cloud has had this model, especially with some of our competitors, of more like the Hotel California model, where it's
you can never leave.
There's no charge to check the data in.
Yeah.
But when you go to egress that data, when you go to take the data out, there's heavy charges.
Yeah.
So we're trying to. We think that's not right. We've lowered our costs on the networking front, 86% from our competitors, and the first 10 terabytes is free per month. So we're trying to make it very easy to be able to move that data around, to be able to do it through Fast Connect network connections, through no egress charges. If you don't have Fast Connect, it's all the data you can move. If you do have it, if you don't, it's first 10 terabytes are free. After that, 86% less, and one charging dimension rather than 4. A lot of times it's hard to calculate exactly how much will it cost to egress the data with 4 different factors in that calculation. With us, it's a very simple calculation. So I think that will be helpful.
Okay. Dale?
So I think, as been mentioned here, is very few, if any, HPC customers are really doing significant HPC compute in the cloud. However, I will temper that with as Jim said this morning, he didn't like to call his system a cloud, but it does meet all the criteria of a cloud. So
Yeah.
I'll go back to my earlier about having a colo or a consolidated data center, that being an HPC cloud. Certainly, we are seeing that kind of things. The users don't have to be next to the data, don't have to be next to the compute any longer. That was what we did in the 70s. You had the operator who mounted your tapes and ran your cards and gave you the printout. We don't have to do that, so it really doesn't matter that the user's there, but it does matter that the data and the compute are co-located.
Okay, Tom, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I just think with some of the high-speed fabrics that are available now, we have our Intel OmniPath fabric, which has been quite successful for us, and it's providing lower latency movement of the data. So we're feeling pretty positive around where things are going in terms of throughput. Hopefully, that seems to be the bottleneck sometimes with cloud, is latency from bare metal, but there are solutions coming to market, and we feel like things are going to be accelerating in that respect.
Good, Tom. Well, I just want to wrap things up here because Bill's looking at me funny since the Gilligan question. I will remind you, Bill, that you could have hired Addison for this particular segment, but okay. But I was here. I get it. Okay. The last part is, why Altair as a partner if I'm a customer? You guys are all here because it makes good sense for business and technology, I would assume. But from your perspective, why should customers be talking to Altair when it comes to job management?
So we work with Altair around their PBS Professional product. We work with them on a number of fronts. They're really a strategic partner of Intel. But what we see is in the use of our product, which is just launched at Supercomputing last fall, Intel HPC Orchestrator, the PBS Professional Workload Manager is actually integrated within that product. And as such, that enables our customers to be able to download an ISO image of Intel HPC Orchestrator that includes the PBS Professional product and support for that. So that enables us to be able to have our customers just have an easier time getting their clusters up and running. And we obviously see that as a beneficial thing. And certainly we will continue to work with Altair on a number of fronts, but the relationship is strong between our companies, and we'll continue to enhance that in the future.
Great. Dale?
So I believe this is our first relationship between Panastis and Altair. But what I'm here for, not just to meet the customers, is also understand some of the pain points. Earlier we had a presentation on being able to schedule jobs with some knowledge and of the storage subsystem and how that job will affect the storage subsystem. It's a multidimensional problem. Those are the types of things that we would love to be able to incorporate into our product if there was ever a standard of being able to represent that kind of data. Everybody's job's going to be different. One run will not be the same as the next, just based off the data, the amount of data that's out there. So we're trying to understand what those pain points are. And hopefully we can provide some of that infrastructure that PBS can utilize.
Terrific. Bruce, wrap it up here. What do we got? Yeah.
From the Oracle Cloud perspective, Altair is our preferred HPC partner. Their decades-long experience in this space makes them an expert. And the relationships that they have with clients that have spanned decades are extremely valuable. When working in the field with some clients, I can see the level of consulting and expertise that's there. The relationship that they've built with their clients is really powerful. So it's that model that's really compelling to us as from Oracle. To have that level of enterprise type of relationship is key.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that, folks. Can we give our panelists a hand? I think they did a great job.